Hi everyone, my name is Jacqueline Cowan and I'm a volunteer of ISIC, and welcome to the Bridge Talks. Hi. So what is the Bridge Talks? The Bridge Talks is a series of informative lectures about the different fundamental concepts and specialties of conscientiology. And it is organized by ISIC, which is an organization dedicated to helping people to access the concepts of conscientiology around the world. So today the topic will be about intraconsciential recycling, which is a super important topic to help consciousnesses to evolve. And we are joined by an experienced conscientiometrist, Luimara Schmidt from Conscius, who will explain more about this concept. So hi, Luimara.
Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure, and I'm really great for me to start here, to be here. This invitation was very nice, and talk to this challenge topic is something that really interesting. So I'm a conscientiologist and also a conscientiometrist.
Now that's great. It's very nice to have you here talking about this topic. And so let me just give a little bit of background information about Luimara. So Luimara has graduated in law. She has been a volunteer of conscientiology since 1999, a teacher of conscientiology since 2002, and a conscientiometry teacher since 2004. Luimara has been a Penta practitioner since 2004 as well, and has lived in Coconópolis, the center of conscientiology in Foz do Iguaçu, Brazil, since 2010. So I guess just to know a little bit about the structure of how the Bridge Talks works, if you are not already familiar with this. So Luimara will be giving a presentation for about half an hour. And then after this, we're going to open up to questions. So please feel free at any moment, if you have a question, to write it and include it in the chat. And then Luimara will be answering it at this point. Okay, so Luimara, I'm going to hand it over to you, and all the best.
Yes. Okay, so let's go. So our topic is the intraconsciential recycling, and we were talking from the basis of consciential paradigm. So when we talk about such a topic, we start inviting you to this principle of this belief. So don't believe in anything, not even what we are discussing in this talk. We invite you to have your own experiences, okay? So intraconsciential recycling is also called resyn, and this is the cerebral renovation of a conscience. That means the intraphysical consciousness, through the creation of new synapses or interneuronal connections that are capable of allowing for an adjustment of this existential program. Also, the execution of resexes, that is a technique, and also invexes, another technique. And also this intraconsciential recycling can promote the acquisition of new ideas, neutral themes, hyperthought themes, and other neophilic conquests. So we may think, why are we talking about changing and creating new ideas? And everyone during a lifetime has periods that change the ideas, new things comes up to our lives, and we are faced to good or not so good experiences. okay? But when we are bringing this concept of a conscientiology, we have something in the basis, and this is the way of thinking. That's our proposal. So the unit of measurement of a conscious renewal is according to this way of changing our minds, our opinions, and this is not going to happen by chance. Of course, it may happen by needs that we face during our lives, but also we may do this intentionally because we want to evolve in a different way, in a different manner of thinking. And in this condition, I start thinking, why are we talking about this recent? And why is it so nice for me? And some friends and people that I know, they don't bother about this, and life's so different from them. And then I start thinking, I said, oh, there might be, because of the period between lives, after our previous lives, we have a period in the extra-physical dimension. Here we are in the intraphysical one, but we in conscientiology, we understand that we have this lifetime not only in this period. So if we did an intensive course, the resin happens first, the mega recycling happened when we were in an extra-physical period. So that was the point where the seeds were spread, the seeds of knowledge, the ambition to new ideas, the ambition to bring here in the intraphysical dimension, the connection to our essence that is not only from this condition, and it's much bigger, I could say, because involves our consciential condition in the pre-resomatic course. And at that period, we are, some of them, of course, we are supposed to have some program. And this was like an existential program, like a map to do this life. Do you know some people that are very curious about extra-physical lives and by what do we have, where we come from, and things like that? So that stuff, it's not by chance. From lives to lives, we might have been having these interests, and this is related to something else. So recyclers will have their available potential. So they try to recover the highest possible percentage of units of their lucidity from their integral consciousness. That is the whole thing. And while executing this reminder proexis, we are trying to find something else. In this case, Dr. Vieira said that the evolution of consciousness only occurs under a kind of pressure and through resin. That is the changes that we are talking about this lecture. And again, it's very important, the principle of disbelief that recommends that human personality only admits what they experience. So in this way, we are able to eliminate the beliefs, the guesses, the assumptions, or just what have you listened or reading, yeah? So in this way of walking, we are going to be less influenceable, and we are going to improve our self-experiment ourselves, yeah? So such a pragmatic proposal is not something easy, but is related to break with ancient habits, way of thinking, and something that is harder for us that have this religious soul theme. Soul themes means thoughts, yeah? Thoughts and sentiments and energies. So many of us have this charge of the concept of religion. Others have the mythic way of mystical thinking of the extra-physical and spiritual things. Yeah. But when we are talking about the conscientiology, we invite you to be the scientist of yourself. And when we present the concept that we are not only this body, that we have an hollow soma, or it means the physical body, the extra-physical body, yeah? And then if you experience by yourself the lucid projection, this is going to make sense for you. And that's the most important thing, because if you have the own experience of out-of-body experience, this is going to challenge yourself, generates an inevitable increase of reflection, because no one saying to you, you are having the experience, and if it makes sense for you, you are going to start to think. And this is going to open your mind and world view of this existence and the objectives, the main goals and purpose for why we are here. This also is going to improve our intention of recycling. At this point, it's much better to invite you to increase your self-criticism. And remember, through consciential metrology, every reseen or intraconsciential change requires self-criticism of consciousness, because we are going to face self-assessments of physiological and paraphysiological effects with repercussions for the multiple sectors of existence. So when we understand something else and something different from our perspective, we want to put in practice. So that's the basis of the paradigm. We understand something theoretically, and then we are going to experience it. This is related to Resexology. So the way we do our changes. So resexis is the existential recycling, and does not always causes the reseen. That means the intraconsciential recycling, that the changes are visible, and the reseen will always affect our habits, our relationships, or friendships, and it becomes clear to others that the person has changed. In this picture, you can see there's no doubt, yeah? You see the caterpillar, and after some point, we can see the cocoon, and after some time during this experience, you are going to have something brand new. It's a new form, it's a butterfly. So changes happen bit by bit in the proper time when we are doing this movement. And at this point, it's very important for us to understand that things are not 0 or 100. We come bit by bit. So we have different levels. The levels of resexis, it's a proposal that starts in the initial, then we have the intermediate, and also the advanced one. So the initial is something when we feel that we need something to renovate. We might feel some conflicts, and the paradigm might be not fit properly. Some values, yeah, when we invite you not to start drinking alcohol, and also some things that we think it's not better for us. So in this point, the predominance are of external changes. They are totally perceptible for the others. But the other level, the intermediate one, this increases the critical sense. And we start wanting more to know and understand the real value of this existence. Many people go to different religions, to different ways, trying to find answers also. In this point, we might diagnose the external difficulties. So the recyclers might find that they have some attachments, so some compromises like marriages, or marriage one at least, yeah, indeed, they have kids, or some connection with an ideology, yeah. And or if you are an inverter, you might feel the internal obstacles like bad habits, self-corruption, among lots of other stuffs, okay? But when we are talking about the advanced level of resexes, we can't separate this from the intraconsciential recycling. So at this point, we are going to carry out resins. We increase our group of karmic hits. That means the recompositions. We start doing reconciliations, and this is going to minimize our self-conflicts and improve the level of self-cosmoethics. This is the ethics beyond the moral and the human behaviors and values. This is the cosmic ethic. And the multidimensional awareness is going to help us to open mind for this condition of broadcast our lives. In this point, we have to face off. And what are we going to face off? This is the auto-impact therapy that happens when the person decides to effect surgical recycling in oneself. It requires frontal impact, self-confrontation, or sincere face-off. At this point, you see the picture. This man is probably in his 70s or 80s, but the image that he sees in the mirror is about his 30s. So in this point, we have some error of self-image, some mistaken, and we think some things about ourselves that not really correspond to the facts. So self-realism is something very, very important. And to do this, the self-research is something very appropriate. When you're talking about conscientiology, we talk about self-knowledge, and the tool is the self-research. For this, we have lots of techniques, many books and ways of doing so. Today, we're just talking about some kind of possibilities. So we are going to understand more about our strong traits. That means our qualities, our weak traits. There are things that we don't like, but still are us. And also the absent traits, that mean qualities that we still don't have. Also, the real and idealized values. That means, which one are my values? Values are related to things that we are important for us, things that are connected to our main interests. And the self-research is going to be done by multiple angles of self-analysis. We have the self-evolutionary polynomial, that's something connected to the 4 steps, like self-research, and then you do the self-diagnosis. After that, of course, you are going to face something. It might be a strong trait. It might be something good that you have, but it's not using. And then you are going to do a self-confrontation to self-overcoming some difficulty, even though in using a talent of yourself. So, self-conscientiometry and self-consciential therapy are 2 specialties of conscientiology. Self-conscientiometry is one of things that we work at Conscius, and the unit of measurement is the self-diagnosis. But we have also the way of treating ourselves is the self-consciential therapy, and in this case the unit of measurement is the self-healing. The last lecture you have, this Let's Talk, was about consciential therapy, and we have this video at ISIC, for the ones that are interested. And here we are with this book, this marvelous one that now is translated for us to work, and it's composed by 2,000 items. We have the conscientiogram, that is like you can see in English. I don't know if you can see properly, but we have questions and the space to fulfill with your mark. So you're going to do by yourself. You are going to ask the question, to think about, and then according to the facts of your life, you are going to give you a mark. And the mark, it doesn't need to be good. It does need to reflect your reality. That's the most important, to face what you are able to do and what is your reality right now. So this book, The Conscientiogram, is a manual for us to know ourselves. And after answering the questions, we have also the electronic schedule, and then you can fulfill the conscientiometric graphic. As you can see in the picture, we have this kind of showing, and then you see the lacks that you want to improve, and also the good points. So when we see ourselves from this perspective, is a technical one. So we invite the interested ones to self-research, to increase the self-knowledge. And what we are doing with this tool, we are going to have an overview. And having this overview, we may have the self-mega prospectivity of ourselves. So this is a kind of technique of amplifying the lucid awareness. And then we want to do self-research. It's like in order to analyze and discover the maximum possibility of ourselves, to increase this kind of qualities of lives. Why are we looking for this? To be better in our lives, to be happier, to be healthier, and also to increase our homeostasis. In this mega lookout approach, we see 3 pictures. At the first, we can see a lady that is alone, and she can overview this beautiful place. The second one, we also have the same place, but also two perspectives from a guy and a lady, and they are looking in the different ways, and they can have different perspectives. The third one invites us to do this lookout and also the Belvedere approach, yeah, from the perspective of evolutionary duo. So we have a couple here, and they are increasing their connections. And in this condition, we see that we have also other challenges that conscientiology promotes for us. We call them verpons. That means new concepts, not only new ideas. Sometimes the ideas already existed, but we use neologism to express them, okay? So some of them are like techniques, yeah? Like the resexes and resing, they are techniques, but also some of them are evolutionary values, like cosmoethic, okay, and mega fraternity. So here we are, we have some concepts like the evolutionary duo, the holosomal, the interassistentiality, because when we talk about assistential, it's something useful, but if you don't put yourself on the other side of the bridge, yeah, you are only someone that knows better, is in a better condition, and is helping others, helping others, helping others. Religion has this approach. But here, when you are talking about interassistentiality, it means that we help and also we are helped. And we do this in a different way because we have this approach of multidimensionality. So we can exchange relations with consciousness that are not only in this dimension. The Penta technique is a technique that we may talk about later, that is strictly connected to this extra-physical relationship. Also, the permanent freeness condition is something of utmost importance when we talk about not being influenced by other conditions, other ideas and preconceptions and consciousness and energies of environments. Not only talking about pollution, because when we talk about intraphysical pollutions, it's easier for us to understand. But when talking about energetic pollution, is something that many people don't understand how they are influenced and suffer from this. So also there are some other concepts like seriexis, that means the series of existentials, or also the vibrational state, that is a technique for us to move our energies in order to make a strength condition of our aura. And the terrorize is something that combines the theory and the practice. So here for you that's coming for the first time, that I have some friends, some relatives here today, these are some challenges and some things that might sound so odd for you, but take it easy, take it easy. Let's see, what can we do for optimizing the kind of changes? So recycling, both existential and interconsciential, only happens when the replacement of personal habits. There are no abrupt changes of habits. Anything that we want to change, that we are used to, we have to be patient with us. And being patient don't means being self-corrupted. Being means realistic, because every new habit requires time for adaptation. And also, when we are talking about this condition of the energies, Dr. Vieira said that the elimination of energetic junk or the anti-rubbish is the first smart step to discard and alleviate the excess of inconvenient deposits. And these deposits might be composed by intraphysical stuff, the things that we have in our kitchen, in our office, in our table, some kinds of in our drawers. How long ago did you clean your drawers? Yeah, and also these accumulate energies that sometimes we don't perceive that are not good energies, but we may improve the quality of our energies, our thinking, and our way of doing things. At this point, we invite you to self-catalysis your evolution. And we have a synergy proposal. So it's based on the physical exercises and extra-physical or parapsychic and energetic exercises. You can see these pictures. We have someone walking, but it's not just walking, it's exercising. So if you do something related to this, you are going to increase the health of your body. But also we invite for it to increase the health of our energetic body. That means working lucidly with our energies. And to finish this, we want to say that these changes are not going to be in a harder way. Just we want to be happier. We want to be healthier. We want to be more homeostatic, to have more balance in our lives. So to be self-motivated to our own evolution and to keep going through these lives and these conditions that are hard, and being more soft, but not accomplished with things that are not fit our lives anymore. So pleasurable recycling is the technical and evolutionary conduct capable of combining the usefulness of a renewal with the conditional of personal pleasure in intimate and existential recycling. So thanks everyone for this opportunity. Yeah, you have the connections of Conscius and also the ISIC, and my email if you want to discuss or to give some information, to exchange ideas. And also the Consciential Program book that I talked, it's available for anyone that is interested in connecting this at the ISIC homes to download for free, okay? So, thank you.
Thanks, Luimara. It was very nice, your presentation. And so now we're going to open up to questions. So for those people who are watching online, feel free to send any questions, any doubts, anything you'd like to know about this concept of intraconsciential recycling. And Luimara will be answering them. So I guess first of all, I should just mention that we have a number of people here. You know, Joao Batista Melo, who says, good afternoon, everyone. Virginia, hi everyone, good afternoon. Anna Paula, good afternoon. In German, Felipe, Manfred, sehr gut. Very good, the butterfly analogy. Ananda Schmidt. And you have Liliana, Alexandre, congratulations, excellent talk. So we have a number of people here that are saying things. Excellent, Virginia saying it's a challenge to recycle, a lot of things to change. So we have a question here also by Virginia. And this is a question as well that came to my mind, so it's very nice. How can we prioritize what is the most important thing to change to, you know, to undergo this intraconsciential recycling?
Well, it's a nice challenge to answer this question. Yes. Well, indeed, we are going to have many, many things to change during a life period. So from what I understood by now, we have to work with conditions that are closer to us. Yes, because if you understand the evolution and you see the whole thing, you said, okay, I have so many things to change during this life period. But what is the thing, or what is the value or the trait, yeah, that is more close to you right now? So what is bothering you? Yeah, what do you want to do and are not able doing right now? And if you look at this, you are going to see that might be something related to professional, to relationship, to a reconciliation in a family condition. So you're going to find this at the moment. Starting doing this thing, then you are going to have more and lots of things in other areas. So to prioritize is not something easy, because if you are if you have many problems, I think in many areas, I would say for you to use the Resexogram. That is an instrument and also a technique. Instead of having 2,000 items that we have here in the conscientiogram, the Resexogram have 100 items. Then you are going to see the 10 areas or sectors of the life, and then you are going to see and select one item from each area to prioritize. So I think that's the way, because we have many things to do, and if we want to do and change and recycling everything at the same time, we are not going to be in a balance. We are going to be too much stressed. And what we want is the positive stress and not the negative one. But sometimes during the crisis, we are going to have stress that are going to help us or not.
Yes, it's interesting because you mentioned this aspect of pleasurable. It can be actually pleasurable. And I guess because there's the stress involved, there's a, I guess, level of discomfort, but you talk about it can be something pleasurable. So it's interesting. I don't know if you want to comment on that, but it's...
Yes, because that's the point. As we are very used to face things harder, my way of thinking was like that. I have a problem, I'm going to face it, I'm going to smash, and then I'm going to cross over. And then I realized that many things are not good in this way of working. Many people don't work on such a way, and it's not pleasure and not effective to do all types of recycling. So it may happen in one area, you do it like this, but when talking about affectiveness and psychosoma, our emotions, our relations, our connections, we are not going to resolve and to do things with strength. We are going to have to learn. So this is my RECIN, interconsciential recycling, to learn how to have empathy. It's for me a challenge. And this starts with respect. Respecting the free will of consciousness is something for moms, it's something that is because the kid, the baby, for instance, the baby, you have to take care and to lead to even to the first steps. But at some point, we have to understand that the better is to stay by side and watch the kid grow. The kid grows, growing up and developing itself. And if you have some weak traits like controlling and not insecure, and you are not self-confident, and you might confuse things, and in fact not helping because you want to be attached, and this is going to be it's not going to be good for anyone, because you are going to be in a condition of dependence, and it's going to affect the evolution of the mom and the kids, and also not good for anyone. Yeah.
Great. So we have a question from Adina Oprea. Let's have a look here. Is the relationship between resexus and resin a unisense one, from resexus to resin, or is it a double sense one? So I think a double way, maybe that's what she means. Going just, and resin can also determine a resexus. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Adina, it's a good question, because at first, the Dr. Vieira used to say that we need to do resin first, to then do the resexes. At the 700 Experiments book, it was written by that way. But then I said, no, because we can change something from outside without changing inside the way of thinking. So, in fact, the things are not only one way, because we may start changing from outside and then changing inside, or the opposite. You see? But the main point is that it's something like, it's a cycle. You understand. I'm going to give a simple, a very simple example. If you see a woman and said, "Oh, I have a great change in my life. I cut my hair." I said, "Oh yeah, is it so great?" And then you are going to talk. And she said, "Okay, 40 years that I have this long hair because of my religion. So then I changed my mind, and now I had a haircut." You see? So the haircut is something that might be something extra consciential, just changing the visual, or something more and more important and deep inside the consciousness to take this decision. Yeah. So we don't have in a specific order. We just understand that both things happen, and it's easier to change outside. So resexus is easier than resin, because the resin we change the way of thinking. Yeah.
So we have another question by Adinas Schmidt, and she asks, can young people do recycling? I'm 25.
Oh, yes, yes. Recycling is for everyone, even youth and also old people. Everyone can recycle, and recycling is not connected only with conscientiology. People recycling their lives daily. With this pandemic situation, how many things are we changing here in our daily lives? So in this case, Ananda, you are asking something that I wrote in my book, that is the youth recycler, because we have the inverter, this youth that is going to do recycling in a different way. Yeah, so recycling ourselves can be done by both in any case, but now we are going to talk about the technician, to apply a technician that we call resexis, or to apply a technician that we call invexis. So this is something else, different from only the subject recycling. You see? You get the point? So even with 25, you may do recycling, and can be an inverter or a youth recycler. Yep. We have, even though a verbete, an encyclopedia of conscientiology that is called youth recycler. Yes, we have this.
Very nice. So we have a comment by Alvaro Bittencourt. I think it goes back to the question about what we should prioritize. If I'm wrong, Alvaro, let me know. But he says, that sounds like example low-hanging fruit. If there's something easily accomplishable, you could or should recycle that first.
Just a moment. Can you talk to me about this, Jacqueline?
Yes, I think what it means is that those things which are more easily in reach, more easily that you can change, I think more easily, those are the ones you should prioritize. I think that's what Alvaro is saying.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, what is closer for you to start doing the recycling? That's it? Yeah,
yes, I think so. Yeah.
That's Jacqueline, do you know this guy, Álvaro Bittencourt? No? It's a very close guy. It's my son. He's living in Canada.
Oh, very nice.
Yes, he's in Canada, in Vancouver. Yes. Well, sometimes it's, of course, we start from what's closer, but we can't lose the perspective that many times we have something that is deeper and harder. So if we don't face this point, we might be mistaking ourselves. So we start movement, doing things, but also we have to planify, to have a strategic way of go to that point that is sharper for us, you see. Otherwise, we can be just recycling easier things. So our proposal, we have many techniques, and the one that for me is the hardest one is the related to cosmoethic level, that is the personal code of cosmoethics. So this is a technique for receiving chirurgical, we may say, because you are going to see the sharper points the things, the weak traits, and the difficulties that you have in your bad habits, sometimes related to proud or vanish or controlling or even procrastination. It's from each one the kind of attribute that's going to be necessary to change. And then you prepare for yourself a code with some rules. And these rules must be in a positive way, and they must be achievable, yeah, and measurable, because you are going to find a way to go step by step, confronting without being confrontative. You are going to be recycling things, because many times we have a self-image not completely real. We think things of ourselves, and then they are not what people think of our respect. So to do this disruption is very important, to be more honest and more realistic to our conditions. So which things do I know about myself, and which one I think is easier to recycling, and then I'm going to start doing that. But which is the recycling that worthwhile this existence for you? That is a great question. Which is the recycling that worthwhile this existence? If you find the answer, yeah, you are going to see that to achieve this conquest, many times you are going to have to change lots of small things, lots of many other habits, even good habits, you see, because sometimes we are just taking things harder. No, yeah, sometimes we have some things that are really good, but in fact, they are not the better for us at the moment. So we have to do this self-research time by time. Because of this, we have courses, and for instance, the Resexology program, we invite people to do every 2 years. Then you do the revision, you see how things are going, and then you plan. You have a resexometric plan for the next 2 years, you see? So the inverters have other techniques, and they also can use the consciential program and the Resexology program, but the plenty way they are working is when with another tool. Yeah, we have many different tools. You have to find the way that fits you to improve your evolution in your benefit. And as much benefit we have, as much we want, at least it happens with me, we want to help others. And it's something that happens inside, because selfish becomes something not pleasure for us. So we want to change because we see that is more pleasurable and gratitude for us to do in a different way. So we think the others and we benefit ourselves. Yep.
Great. So, yes, Alvaro was just saying, yes, that's exactly it. And yes, Ananda, that makes sense. Okay, so we have another question here. What are some obstacles for doing interconsensual recycling or resins?
Oh, the obstacles are, well, we may think, when we reborn in this life, we believe that we are this body. We believe because we can touch, we can feel this, and we are thinking that this is our condition. Because of our memory is not complete, we don't have here now the whole memory. We just have this from this life. We sometimes lose the perspective from our conscientiality. So this, I think, is a very great obstacle. But also the way that we are learned to think, because when we reborn in a family, yeah, according to our parents, we are taught some principles, some values, and the mesology teaches us things. If you're born in East, or you are going to have a different perspective now from the other countries. So here we can see that the prejudice, the way of thinking that we are used to, is something that also is going to difficult, yeah. And this thinking about this intraphysical life, but when we think about different perspective of seriexis, the changes are harder because we are used to a way of seeing things and way of guessing that things going. So if someone do like this, I see, for me, this means that. And reverifability, yeah, to check if what I'm thinking is the reality is something that's not, people are not used to do so. So they have the interpretation and their own beliefs, yeah. So I think this is some kind of obstacle for us to do the reseeing and changing the way of thinking.
So maybe we have time for one more question. So I'd like to ask you, Luimara, if you could share some kind of personal experience you had with your own process of RESIN, intraconsciential recycling.
Well, when I was thinking of this, I thought really in many examples, and I would say I couldn't say that I have one plenty resin, because from the level that I understand now, I can see that I changed my religious condition. I was born in a Catholic family, but not so much practice. Yeah, and then, but I used to pray when I was a child, and in adolescence, I also went to church by my interest, yeah, and to see if I have this vocation to be connected strictly, and then I realized that not. But when I connect to conscientiology and start understanding and doing working with my energies, at the first moment it comes to my mind usually when I was in a calm, comes like a prayer, and I said, no, I don't need to pray, yeah, because I'm self-responsible. I'm the one who are going to lead my life. I don't have to put this responsibility into some God or some extra extra one, yeah, is something that I can lead. But even though the idea of not praying and not asking and not asking for forgiven or things like that, it took me a while to get free from guilty, and also to get free from the thinking like praying. Yeah, it took me some years to stop praying, not praying intentionally. You see, I was working with energy, and at some point, and I said, it's like a mantra. It's like something that happens, appears in my mind. And after some years, I felt free from that. And so I can see that this is a point that I have received. Yeah, this is definitely a good one. And I think that's it. And so the free will to have choices and to do your choices, yeah, that's great, really great, without guilty.
Very nice example. So we've come to the end of the talk. So, but just before we end, we're going to just talk about some activities that are going to be coming up. So I think, yeah, first of all, we have the next activity, the Bridge Talks. It's going to be on the 10th of July, so in 2 months' time, about Penta with Flavio Amado. And also, after that, we actually have an event. We have the 3rd International Week of Conscientiology, which is an event of 10 days with lots of different activities about different topics of conscientiology, including Luimara, you're going to be participating in giving an activity about the conscientiogram, right? So if you want to mention a little bit about that activity.
Oh, yeah. We are going to have an activity, yes, on a workshop indeed. We are going to work with the conscientiogram. We are going to teach how to use this book of questions. We have 2,000 questions or items, and we are going to teach how to use this. And feel free, if you want to participate, join us. It's going to be a great pleasure.
Great. And just a reminder that you can actually download this book, the Conscientiogram, right? So if you visit the website here, the ISIC website, then you can actually download the book and get to see the types of questions that they have. But as Luimara said, that they're going to go in some detail with that. So it's going to be very nice. So Luimara, thank you very much for today's talk. It was very informative, and thank you to everyone who watched today.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, Isaac. And you are doing such a great work from Isaac that it helps us for starting growing our essence from the language sharing in our ideas and things like that. I'm very glad to be here, and thank you specifically, and Liliana also, that helped me a lot with this presentation. Thank you.
That's great. Okay then, bye everyone.